Hey guys, welcome back to the Wild Wrestling channel. I am your host, Seth. Today, I'm giving you guys my TNA Slammiversery review and grading each match. So let's hop right into the video. Play the intro. I'm not going to go through the entire countdown one by one, but if we just look over the whole thing, the Elegance brand retained against the Inspiration, which I did not expect, which wasn't a bad match. Then we saw Eric Young call out the hometown man, who came out and ended up beating him, which was cool to see. And the fourth rope guys were able to get one up on the TNA guys to really show themselves off a little bit. And all in all, for the countdown show, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't. There wasn't a lot that stood out, but of course it was just the countdown show. So I'm gonna give it like a C+, but not too bad, but not too good either. But it was a good countdown show. When we get to the actual show, we kicked it off with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali for one-on-one. This rivalry had been building for a while now, ever since Cedric debuted in TNA, and this was very good. Mustafa Ali came out with Order 4 and the Secret Service. I'm sorry. Then Cedric came out, and they threw down. Cedric was just kept waiting just to get at Mustafa, and they definitely tore the house down to kick it off with many crazy dives, like that crazy suicide dive to Cedric, that Michinoku driver off the top by Cedric on a Mustafa to the outside on all the bodyguards. And in the ring at the end, after Tasha Steelz got ejected, trying to come back in, getting hit with the lumbar check. But in the end, the 450 connected, and Mustafa Ali pinned Cedric. I'm going to give this, like, an A-. I thought it was a very good way to kick out the show. One of my favorite matches of the night. They did a lot of cool action. And I ended up getting the right winner here, but I think an A- is a good pick there. Next up, we saw the System in the hometown, and the actual hometown man, Matt Cardona. Not like the guy hometown man, but he from Long Island. Matt Cardona came out and those four took on NXT's Dark State, which was kind of started off as a brawl, kind of got some control, but the brawling, kind of the chaoticness of an 8-man tag continued. But in the end, with one radio silence and a Boston knee, part of the System and Matt Cardona ended up defeating Dark State to stand tall here in New York. I'm going to give that match probably like a B. Yeah, just like a B. Maybe even a B-, but I'm going to just say B. It wasn't too bad. I liked the brawling style of it. Cool to see Matt Cardona in his hometown, but wasn't that bad, but wasn't like the best match of the night, but it wasn't very bad, and that's why I'm going to give it a B. Next up, we saw Tessa Blanchard versus Indy Hartwell. This is a good match. They kept hitting. It kind of was a bit of a brawl, but still kind of a good technical wrestling match. And they kept hitting their big moves, like Tessa Blanchard hitting Magnum, Indy Hartwell hitting like her flatliner sort of on the mat to the face. And they kept kicking out of all these big moves. And in the end, after that flatliner that Indy Hartwell does on the ropes and one right on the mat, 1, 2, 3, she gets the win. And as she's talking with Gia Miller, Tessa Blanchard attacked her. Gia Miller looks to get her off, but Tessa ends up attacking Gia Miller and puts her on the steps and starts beating her down, and calls out the security and gets them out of there. Gia's like all the way over here crying, and it definitely was a lot. Like, we saw Matthew Raywall come out from the commentary desk. Like, that was something to see. So now people are thinking there might be a tag team match. I thought for a sec Ace Austin was going to come out and start beating up Tessa, because they've wrestled for the world title before. But all in all, with the actual match and this, I'm going to give it a B+. I like the ending with the Gia Miller attack. I didn't really like the Gia Miller got attacked, but it could set up something cool in the future. So I'm going to give it a B+. Next up, we had Masha Slamovich versus JC Jane for the TNA Knockouts World title and the NXT Women's Championship. This was a good match. The rivalry's been building up over the last couple of weeks on NXT and TNA. Fatal Influence was by the side of JC Jane, and they kept trying to interfere. But towards the end of the match, we saw Xia Brookside and Liang Lee come out to take care of them. But in the end, the ref got knocked down with a super kick, And as the match went to the snowplow, the ref wasn't there to count. But in the end, after all of it, a rolling encore by Jacy Jayne was enough as she pinned Masha Slamovich to retain the NXT Women's Championship and win the TNA Knockouts World Title. I'm gonna give this like a B. I didn't think it was horrible, but I didn't think it was that horrible. It was a pretty good match. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was cool to see Jacy Jayne now she holds both titles, so it'll be interesting what happens. Next up, we had Moose take on Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. Leon Slater is trying to become the youngest ever X Division champion. This was an awesome match, full of cool action, like that reversal from the power bomb on the apron by Leon Slater into a Hurricane Rana, sending Moose to the floor. Hitting a Hurricane Rana up on the ramp. He hits a spear on Moose and a Swanton 450, but it's only a 2. And then Moose hits him with a spear out of midair. And in the end, one big Swanton bomb. And then a Swanton for his idols, the Hardys, and one Swanton 450 allows Leon Slater to get the dub and become the youngest ever X Division champion. But then out of nowhere, as he's celebrating, well, first we see Moose put the title around his waist, showing that respect. And then out of nowhere, while he's celebrating, we see the return of the phenomenal AJ Styles to a TNA ring, who comes out and comes out to his old theme, first of all, then comes out and talks to Leon Slater about how he's the future of the X Division. He was one of the people in the foundation of this place, but Leon's the future, showing him his respect, and standing in a TNA ring once again after 11 years. And all in all, with all of the stuff that happened here, I'm going to give it all an A+. I think the match was very good, probably like an A- or so. But then the part of the AJ Styles return, everyone wanted to see that. It was an A+, everything together, in my opinion. Next up, we saw the 4-way ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. This was very chaotic. All 4 teams started off just throwing everything they had at each other. And we saw some crazy moves like that cutter from Myron Reed to Ryan Nemeth over the rope to the outside. Then we saw Myron Reed get put in with a World's Strongest Slam as AJ Francis holding him and a ladder and put him down with that. Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz, other Rascals, jumped off the top rope with a ladder right to AJ Francis' midsection, and then Zachary Wentz looked to climb the ladder, but AJ was sitting underneath it and pushed it over, and Casey Navarro was laying on a ladder, and he splashed into him. Then, later in the match, First Class looked to climb the ladder, but I'm pretty sure the Rascals or someone ended up pushing them off, and they went through 2 ladders, and AJ looked a bad bump. His leg just looked like they got paralyzed. Then we saw Jeff Hardy at 2 Swanton bombs with Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz laying on ladders. And then in the end, they didn't have any ladders because they broke them all. So Jeff Hardy deployed like one of those swinging ladders that you see on like a ship down. And he was trying to climb up those. And in the end, as the Nemesis looked to stop him, the Hardys hit 2 Twist of Fates with chairs around their necks, climbed it, and became the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. I'm going to give this match an A. I thought it was very good. It was so unique, cool innovation, and even at the end, it might even be an A+ now, because in the end, we saw Bully Ray come out as now he challenged the Hardys at Bound for Glory for the TNA World Tag Team Championships for Team 3D and the Hardys one final time. And in all honesty, I think it's altogether an A+ for me. And finally, the main event, we saw Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Mike Santana and Trick Williams.
Put that trick! Put that trick! Put that trick! Put that trick!
All collide for the TNA World title. As you saw there, Trick and Mike Santana both got cool entrances, and then Joe Hendry doesn't need a cool entrance because his entrance is already so special. And they collide in a triple threat. The tension had been building with all 3 of them. Mike Santana and Joe Hendry immediately targeted Trick and ended up taking him out as they all fought with each other for a while, all 3 of them. And then in the end, towards the end of the match, Trick after some sort of dive, acted injured and looked injured as the medical were carrying him. Mike Santana and Joe were brawling in the ring as Mike Santana hit a spin the block on Joe Hendry, threw him off the ropes and hit a second one, but Trick Williams was doing a bit all along as he ran back in the ring, threw Mike Santana out, and covered Joe Hendry 1, 2, 3, and he retained the TNA World title. I'm going to give this an A-. I thought the match was good. The entrances were cool. The bit was kind of funny to me, but I didn't really fully like the winner. But I understand it as Bound for Glory is their biggest event, so in my opinion, something could happen there about getting the title off Trick. And now it's interesting to see where it's going to go, as now 2 NXT superstars are holding their TNA World titles. And I think an A- was good here. All in all, for Slammiversery, I'm going to give it an A-. I thought it was a very good show. They had the record attendance. They said this was their biggest Slammiversary ever, and it definitely was, in my opinion. A- is a really good pull there for me. I think just there were a lot of good matches, a lot of cool moments, and I definitely enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it an A-. Guys, so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed this video, and turn on that bell so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.